The Haunting at Blackwood Manor. Part 1. The Fateful Return. It was a chilly autumn evening, and the legends surrounding Blackwood Manor had always intrigued us. People said it was haunted for generations, and we couldn't resist the temptation to find out if the stories were true. Blackwood Manor, a grand but dilapidated mansion on the town's outskirts, had been abandoned for decades. Its looming presence sent shivers down anyone's spine who ventured near. Countless tales of eerie encounters had made it impossible to ignore. A group of 5 friends, driven by curiosity and a touch of bravado, gathered outside the mansion just before nightfall. The air was heavy with unease as they cautiously pushed open the creaking front door. Inside, the place was a mess, shrouded in dust and cobwebs, a faded shadow of its former splendor. Their flashlights provided the only source of light as they ventured further. As they explored the mansion's dimly lit hallways, unsettling occurrences began to unfold. Disembodied whispers, footsteps from empty rooms, and the distant sound of a child's laughter echoed through the building. Their heartbeats quickened, but they dismissed the eerie happenings as mere products of their overactive imaginations. But their courage was tested when they reached the grand ballroom. In the center of the room, a shadowy figure materialized. Its hollow eyes seemed to pierce their very souls. The chilling voice of the figure began to recount intimate details of their lives and secrets they had never shared with anyone. Paralyzed with fear, they were unable to escape its gaze. Desperate to flee, they rushed toward the exit, but the heavy doors slammed shut before them. The ghostly figure in the ballroom continued to taunt them, growing more menacing by the second. Just when they thought their fate was sealed, a powerful force pushed them out of the mansion, and the doors slammed shut behind them. They never returned to Blackwood Manor, but the sinister entity had left an indelible mark on their lives. It seemed to know their deepest fears and secrets, leaving them with a sense of dread that would haunt them forever. Part 2. The Unveiling. After their harrowing experience at Blackwood Manor, the group was consumed by a relentless desire to uncover the truth behind the haunting. The secrets revealed by the shadowy figure continued to torment them. They couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface of the mansion's dark history. They began researching the history of Blackwood Manor, uncovering a tragic tale of a wealthy family's downfall. The Blackwoods, once the town's most prominent residents, had fallen from grace. A family tragedy involving a devastating fire led to the mansion's abandonment. The rumors of a curse attached to the place were impossible to ignore. The group sought out the town's elderly residents, hoping to gather more information about the Blackwoods and their mansion. What they discovered sent chills down their spines. The family's son, Benjamin, had vanished without a trace, never to be found. There were whispers of Benjamin's restless spirit still wandering the mansion's halls. Armed with newfound knowledge, they returned to Blackwood Manor. This time, they brought an old Ouija board and a tape recorder, hoping to establish contact with the lingering spirit. As they entered the mansion, the atmosphere was even more oppressive than before. It felt as though the very walls held their breath, waiting. They set up the Ouija board in the grand ballroom, the epicenter of their previous encounter with the shadowy figure. With bated breath, they began to ask questions. The planchette on the Ouija board moved slowly, spelling out messages. The spirit claimed to be Benjamin, the missing Blackwood son. He shared a heartbreaking tale of betrayal by his own family and being trapped in the mansion by an evil force. The room grew colder as the atmosphere became more sinister. The Ouija board vibrated violently, and the tape recorder captured eerie, otherworldly voices. Their communication with Benjamin seemed to anger the malevolent presence. In a final act of desperation, they tried to end the session, but the Ouija board had a mind of its own. It spelled out a terrifying message: "You will never leave." Panic set in as the room filled with a malevolent presence. Whispers and footsteps, much like before, echoed through the space, but this time, they were far more aggressive. In a desperate bid for escape, they made a run for the exit, but the doors slammed shut once more. They were trapped, just as the shadowy figure had promised. Part 3: The Aftermath. Trapped in the mansion, the malevolent presence closed in on the group. The atmosphere grew colder, and their screams filled the haunted halls. The entities seemed to grow more powerful with each passing moment. In their darkest hour, Mary, one of their friends, clutched a pendant with protective properties. It emitted a soft, warm light, pushing back the malevolent force temporarily. However, the entity's rage was palpable, and the pendant's protection was not absolute. With sheer willpower, they pushed against the sinister force that held them captive, managing to open the doors and escape the mansion. As they crossed the threshold, the malevolent presence screamed in rage, and the mansion seemed to shudder. They had escaped Blackwood Manor, but the experience had forever changed them. The spirit of Benjamin and the malevolent entity within the mansion had left lasting scars. The echoes of their encounter continued to haunt them, a constant reminder of the perilous curiosity that had drawn them into the malevolent clutches of Blackwood Manor. Their lives were forever altered, and the spirits of the mansion cast a shadow over them, even in the light of day. The tale of the haunting at Blackwood Manor serves as a chilling warning to those who would dare to explore the unknown. The line between the living and the dead is thin, and in the darkness of a haunted place, one may find themselves ensnared in a nightmare from which there is no escape.